All right, here's a short story. When the Napoleon began his conquest of the world, so he attacked Russia and he succeeded. He conquered and he defeated the Russian army, one victory after another victory. And in the end, he conquered, I think he got up to Moscow or whatever it is, or he conquered, but the Russian winter set in a little bit too early and he was defeated. But before that, he was succeeding and he was winning and he was winning and winning. And all the Jews were in favor of Napoleon. All the Jewish leaders were in favor of Napoleon because Napoleon came to free them from the kings, the oppression of the kings and from the church, and to make everybody free. Liberty, fraternity, equality was the one outstanding rabbi that was against, possibly the only one that was totally against Napoleon, was the first Rebbe of Chabad. He was totally against, to the degree that he sent a spy. We told you that story. He sent spies to spy on Napoleon. Anyway, it finally came down to Napoleon was winning and winning, and it came down on Rosh Hashanah. And everyone knew, all the other groups of Hasidim knew that the Alter Rebbe, the first Rebbe of Chabad, was against them, and he wanted Napoleon to lose. And it was Rosh Hashanah. They knew that whoever sounded the shofar first would get his way. So the other groups of Hasidim, they started praying immediately, first second of the day. They prayed at the fastest way they could, read the Torah at a tremendous speed, and 15 minutes later, after they started the prayers, usually the prayers take a couple of hours, 15 minutes they sounded the shofar, and they realized that the Alter Rebbe sounded first. He sounded first. And sure enough, that's what happened. Napoleon won and won and won and won. And finally, in the end, just there was a big overturn, and he lost. He lost. He had to retreat from Russia, and his troops were decimated, etc. So they went and asked the Alter Rebbe, how could you do it? How you prayed faster than us? He said, no, very simply. I woke up in the morning, and before I prayed, I sounded the shofar. First thing in the morning. So you might say, okay, it was a sort of a, nobody thought of that, doing that. But the idea is that no, sounding the shofar, the prayers before sounding the shofar are a necessary preparation spiritually for sounding the shofar. And somehow or other, the first Rebbe of Chabad, he jumped over all that. And he sounded the shofar with all the preparations automatically. In any case, that shows you the power of the shofar. According to this story, that the reason that Napoleon lost was not because of any the logistics mistakes or something like that. He was a genius logician. No. Anyway, logic. Anyway, a warrior. There's a word for it, logician. And then, but because the first Rebbe of Chabad sounded the shofar, and that's the power of sounding the shofar. Of course, sounding the shofar by the Rebbe. But the other Hasidim knew that if they sounded, that they would win. So the shofar has a tremendous power for good. Therefore, when you hear the shofar, the commandment is to hear the shofar. When you hear the shofar, think good, and it will be good. Have a good day with Mashiach now. I'll see you all tomorrow morning, 8:15. Thank you for coming.